The Auckland Islands lie south-southwest of New Zealand's South Island port of Bluff, and they are the largest of New Zealand's subantarctic islands, just over the 50 degrees south latitude. They have a rich history with shipwrecks and survival stories, and they're home to some of the most spectacular wildlife in the Southern Ocean. In January last year, myself and Alex attempted to sail to the SubAntarctic Auckland Islands. Alex had sailed his Halberg Rassi 40 Rusalka from Hobart, Tasmania to Bluff in preparation. We waited for several weeks on the fisherman's wharf being blown around, but with no weather window and with heavy hearts, we had to postpone. It is now November, and we are ready for attempt number 2, departing from Lyttelton.
Well, we're off.
We are off.
Whether we get down there is another thing altogether.
The weather certainly looks better than early this year.
It does. I've got high hopes. We decided to take a few extra crew this time. Alex is the skipper and has been planning this trip for many years. Jeff came along as crew, and he had amazingly sailed around most of the subantarctic islands back in the 80s and had some great stories. Al was more than keen for the adventure after hearing me plan for a year or so, and myself, first mate on my first big trip into the Southern Ocean, sailing a small yacht. We hopped, skipped and jumped down the east coast to Bluff, stopping at Akaroa and Dunedin. We were pretty soggy when we arrived back in Bluff and immediately had to go out and anchor off the docks as the wind was pretty brutal.
All busy there, Hodge?
Meet you down there.
Meet you down there! You!
Auckland Islands, that is.
You're not coming?
No, I'm staying here. Bugger that!
We're just too big for...
With better weather, we started our formalities. Mawson, the rat-sniffing dog, came aboard. He got lots of treats and found no rodents. Mawson's in the back.
Dog inspection successful.
Steve from the expedition vessel Evohe let us pick his brain for safe places in big storms.
I think anchor in about 20 metres, but you can anchor on either side, depending on what. Sandy Bay in a northerly, east to west through north.
And Joseph from Dock inspected our shore gear, the boat, and gave us the rundown on biosecurity. And also coming face to face with giant hooker sea lions waiting for a mate.
Obviously we can't help history, so there was a few hundred years of people going down there for seals and whales and all sorts of things.
After Alan had practiced his knots and all of our biosecurity and quarantine inspections had been done, we had to leave as soon as possible. What knot's that?
This is the rolling round turner 2.5 hitches.
Without a weather window yet for the Auckland Islands, we decided to head south and anchor off Stewart Island. Close.
ECU, extreme close-up. Where are we headed, Alex?
South. South.
South.
Oh God, really, we don't need this. Holding tank at some stage. I don't know what stage it is because it means getting up and walking down.
Our first stop was Port Adventure, which was beautiful, and we stayed there just one night.
What I might do is drop the anchor, pull it a bit, and then pull it up and see what comes up with it.
That's too long in the water.
One.
We then went down the coast towards Port Pegasus, which was absolutely breathtakingly stunning. We absolutely loved it there. This is Pegasus Bay, South Stewart Island. It's so stunning. Port Pegasus is right down in the south of Stewart Island, and we stayed there whilst we waited for our window to continue south. We had a really good weather window to head south. The wind was on our quarter and we had a following sea, and it was so exciting to sail into the Southern Ocean. We officially crossed over 50 degrees south, which was also extremely exciting. Fog was on the forecast for our arrival, and we actually couldn't see land till we were about 5 nautical miles off. When we turned on the motor to head into Port Ross, we found that there was no water coming out of the exhaust. So we quickly turned it off and tried to diagnose the problem.
Okay, so it wasn't the impeller, so now we're going to have a look at the strainer, and hopefully we'll be able to unblock it. Whatever it is that's stopping the water coming through.
We managed to clear the blockage and we made it safely into Port Ross and dropped anchor at Enderby around 9:30 p.m. Interestingly enough, losing your motor when you're 5 nautical miles off land in thick fog in the middle of the Southern Ocean provides a good opportunity for a discussion as what would be the best thing to do. Alex was confident that he could sail in no matter how long it took and anchor up, and I was absolutely confident that he could do that. But the other options were to sail back out to sea and weather the storm that was coming in the next day. It was a good debate of the pros and cons. But we'd arrived safely and we were all shattered but very happy.
Enderby Island, haven't we?
We have.
Oh,
And it's probably got a cork in it, I suppose.
oh,
Tear off the wax.
that's it.
Yep.
Hang on, this is taking as much time
So
as
we
it took
can,
to get here.
we can edit it.
Oh, just unscrewed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to touch. Yep, thank you. Will do me too.
Oh shit.
Wonderful. You'll have to get pissed on your own. Mate.
No. Yeah, I'll have to do it all by myself, won't I? Righto.
I'm going to come some chairs with you.
Yep. Get over there.
Al,
Cheers.
cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Great crew.
Yeah, good job.
Fantastic.
Well done.
Yeah.
Here's to a safe return.
Yes, here's to that.
Smells good.
Oh, that's. I like that.
They didn't just come all on 7 canoes and then that was it.
When we woke up the next morning, our first sights of the Auckland Islands was actually quite bleak. We had to get moving pretty quickly because we needed to find some good holding.
Where are we heading, Hodge?
We're heading to Terra Cove.
Where?
Terra Cove.
So we've just anchored in Terra Cove in preparation for the system that's supposed to come through and hit us sometime tonight, early tomorrow morning. Expecting gusts of up to how much, Alex?
Well, 64 knots was the forecast.
Where are we off to, Hodge?
We're going back to end of the island and we're going to see some penguins.
Did you say Penguin Island?
Penguin Alley.
Penguin Alley! Yep.
Where are you going?
Sure, we're going to drop off some passengers.
What do you hope to see ashore?
A safe way to get on the beach.
Good luck. Unfortunately, the tide had got a little bit too low for a safe landing, but the guys went and scoped it out anyway. We have to be super careful with the dinghy because we're so isolated down here. We've got to make sure that everything is as safe as possible. And the following morning was supposed to be a stunner, so we headed to Erebus Cove to anchor and wait. And the next morning did not disappoint. So we headed back to Enderby with the high hopes of seeing some penguins. Oh my god, that morning light is stunning. Al dropped myself and Alex off for the first shore team land exploration. The young male being mischievous around the new females. And we watched the hoiho, the yellow-eyed penguins, and the hooker sea lions for ages. And then Alex and Al swapped places and we walked over the boardwalk to the top of the island and to the northwest side. It was so beautiful, so windswept and wild. It was awesome. The next adventure was to take off for the south to explore Carnley Harbour. On the way down the east coast, we stopped off at Waterfall Inlet. Jeff had anchored here 40 years ago, and he remembered it to be absolutely beautiful, and he wasn't wrong. It was a stunning place. We were so glad that we went. Sailing down here in the 80s would have been a whole different ball game. No GPS for starters, or weather forecasting even. We quickly got ourselves to Tagawa Bay as the next big low approached. The barometer dropped 18 hectopascals in about 12 hours to 985. We expected some big winds and we stayed on anchor watch throughout the night and the day. If anyone has read this book, you'll understand why I was so excited. We were just over the hill from the 1864 Grafton wreck. A phenomenal story of survival. It's just absolutely awesome. After the storm had passed, we went ashore to check out the lay of the land. Of course, our friends followed everywhere we went. Now they're going to have gone away.
Protected from taking the spray out. Exactly whatever
It
you
is
said.
waterproof, that's a fact. I can't believe that it would be.
It would be waterproof. No,
Because it wouldn't be waterproof.
maybe takes some motion. Oh, of course they can do it.
Is it just swimming beside us?
Yeah. Two of them, big ones.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I love it. See how easy it is to put on. We never use the petrol.
We found in many places we anchored there was quite a lot of weed in the water, which meant when we were pulling up anchor, Alex had quite a tough job. The next day was the search for the remains of the Grafton. I was pretty overexcited about this and I was so stoked that we actually found it. The Grafton was wrecked on the 3rd of January 1864 in the North Arm of Carnley Harbour. The castaway crew waited over a year for possible rescue until they decided to rescue themselves another 6 months later. 3 men set out in a homemade dinghy for Stewart Island and then funded a vessel to come back for the other 2. Led by Captain Musgrave and with the incredibly resourceful Raynal, the castaways survived a whopping 18 months shipwreck down here. It's such an incredible story of survival. Our next port of call was Camp Cove. We used this sheltered little spot as our base for the next few days, and we did little trips out, sightseeing trips out from there.
Well, we're pulling up anchor at Camp Cove, which has been a really good anchorage in the strong winds. And, well, we're about ready to move away. Wind's blowing quite strong. There's a waterfall up there and the spray's going backwards. Island at the bottom of the Auckland Islands. Right up. And that there is Victoria Passage between the Auckland Island and Adamsville. That's cool up there.
I was forced to make muffins to try and combat the cabin fever. They tasted really good, but they looked a little bit strange.
Smells good.
Put in.
I tagged the middle one.
Cabin fever was real, especially sitting out the storms where we couldn't even go out in the dinghy for several days. But we read lots and drank lots of tea. We went ashore at Camp Cove, and it's like we have a dinghy, compulsory dinghy guardian wherever we go. Tangle of Rata. Alan is ashore. There he is. And Alan. This is my sea lion stick. When the sea lions come close, I do that.
But she won't do that because she'll be running as fast as she can
Run away instead.
Oh well, let's just go then.
Sure, party, go ahead.
Keeps paddling it.
Are we drifting much?
Yeah.
You all good? Subantarctic conditions, you need to dress appropriately. This is what appropriately looks like.
This is what my hair looked like after several weeks. Next time, it'll all be chopped off before the trip. It'll be much easier.
Just heading out of Calmly Harbour now.
We departed Calmly Harbour after about 9 days of exploration to sail back to Port Ross for a night before we made a dash for home.
Yeah.
We got like 3 knots of current.
And it's with the wind, so it's calm.
Yeah, it's quite funny. I'll move us down a bit. We left the following morning with about 27 knots of wind and 3 to 4 metres of swell beam on. It was a pretty fun ride. My most memorable and special moments of the whole trip was the albatross, especially as we left the Auckland Islands and we were heading home. They were so huge and so beautiful.
absolutely stunning evening. Just arriving at Stewart Island, Wakiura. Here in Stewart Island. Oh, hello Lucy. Golden Bay. Beautiful little spot.
A bucket list adventure for sure, and thank you so much for Alex and Jeff and Al and of course Rusalka. Such a good boat for the trip, and she kept us all very safe. Maybe next time I'll take Narissa.